My name is David G, and this is the final project for our lab. So essentially, my project was to use the reed switch basically as a magnetic switch that whenever activated would start a timer, and the timer would run for a certain duration and let you know when it was up, but it would also count as a stopwatch, and whenever the switch was disconnected it would let you know how long it ran for. Now this also included the green LED to be lit up whenever the timer is running, and the red LED to be lit up whenever the actual elapsed time is whatever you set it to. So we go on here, we see that because I already have it running, it already says time is up. If we look at the actual circuit, or the actual code we used, we have the basic setup using both elements, timer, or all three elements, the timer, the lights, and the voltage that was read off of from pin 1.4. So we can see that in here, it's basically one big default if statement to see whether the switch is actually on or not. So we have that if it's equal to 1023, which means that there is no, that the magnet is not on there, so it's turned off. Then we have basically everything defaulted to 0 just to reset it. And when it is defaulted to 0, it will print out once how long it ran for. And then down here we have the manual adjustments where you can set your different timer. So for this I just set it to 15 seconds just to make it easy for the demonstration. I was running into a problem where it would run for that time, the light would turn on to show that it hit the 15 seconds, for example, but whenever it ran over into a minute and the seconds value went back down to 0, it would come off. So I ORed it with just a little integer variable, just so that whenever it turns on for the first time, time done gets set to 1, so it'll keep going through and it'll keep the light on, but it'll only print out that the time is up once. And then down here we also have, for the most part, this bottom section is just a normal taking the counter and converting it into the actual time so that we have seconds, minutes, and hours. And then up here we have that if the circuit is on, we have just kind of another default variable, report seconds, reports minute, report hour, that automatically will just adjust their values to whatever the time is at. But that way, whenever the circuit is turned off, these variables will automatically be defaulted back to 0. So we have the report variables left to print out to show you how long it ran for. And then down below we just have all the different, for the print characters, print variables. And then we also see up here, like I mentioned, whenever it's turned off, everything will be reset back to 0. So by doing that, we would lose however long it was elapsed for. So we had to use this other variable, which is kind of as placeholders. And then whenever it gets turned back on, it will automatically just take, once it starts at 0, 0, 0, it will automatically switch those back to 0, 0, 0 and start counting up. So then we can see over here, like I said, it already ran through the time. So we have that there. Both lights are on. And then, turn it low, just make it easier to see. Whenever I take this away, both lights go off. And it also tells us it was running for 5 minutes and 48 seconds. So it did run a little before I started the video. And then we put it back on. The green light came on, showing that it started. And then, here, I'll clear this just to get rid of it. Then we'll see we got time is up. Red light comes on to show us that the timer is done, but the green light's on, so it's still running. And then, just to show it again, whenever we take the magnet off, it reports to us once about how long it ran for. And that is the final project.